Hi, and welcome to another HC Media Group training course. And today I'm going to be teaching you about leadership and how to be an effective leader within your business. My name is Joe Hamilton, and I'm an award-winning author in business. And by that I mean I've got a book out there on the wonderful Amazon. And the book is about digital marketing, which I'm sure you've probably gathered. And it's called, wait for it, it's called Cake. Yeah, that's right, it's called Cake. Why Cake, I hear you say? For me, I just wanted to have a fun title that would, summarize the book just in one word. And the book, for me, has all the ingredients that you need to be an effective marketeer. And because of that, I called it Cake. It really is a good read. So if you're looking for, or you're looking to learn a little bit more about digital marketing, how it works, how to be successful with it, etc., then it's really worth searching out. It's on Amazon, as I say, and it's called Cake. In addition to that, I'm also the managing director of HC Media Group. So we're the fastest growing marketing agency in Essex. We're Colchester based. I started the business back in 2018, and we moved into some offices not far from the castle in Colchester in April 19, and since then the productivity in that office environment has grown our business tremendously. So much so, as I say, we're the fastest growing marketing agency in Essex. It's something that we're really proud of, and long may it continue, as I say. Before then, I have managed, I've managed over 200 retail stores. So looking after business management, and by business management, I mean improving culture within businesses, motivating and developing teams, looking at HR, so recruitment and retention, and more importantly, the finance aspect. So introducing effective and efficient practices, and all of this designed around driving and improving bottom line profitability of particular stores and indeed particular businesses. So that's my specialism. It's in growing business through finance and business management, and hence the training course through HC Media Group. I just want to be able to share this passion and the ability and the know-how to be able to drive your business forward also. I've worked with different businesses, different household names, which I'm sure you'll be familiar with. The first of which I started off with Whitbread, many years ago. Whitbread Inns, you may be familiar with, worked with them for a number of years, and then moved across to a company called Thresher. So Thresher at the time was the biggest off-license chain in the UK, a really good business to be in. And I started off in just a small off license in Romford, 10 staff, and it soon became their flagship store. It was the most profitable store within the organisation, so something that we were really proud of. And because of that, I wanted to share my experience and my knowledge to be able to drive other stores within the organisation forward as well. And because of that, I became an area manager, looked after, 23, 24 different stores for them. And before I left Thresher, I enjoyed a role as a regional manager, again looking after a number of area managers as well. So as I say, a really good business to be in. Put my teeth on in there as far as driving the business forward is concerned, and wanted to really share that experience with other businesses across the UK. And because of that, I joined the Cooperative. Again, you may be familiar with the brand. Again, another really good business to be in. An area manager with them for a number of years before moving over to Well. So Well is a famous pharmacy chain with stores up and down the country, and I worked for Well as an area manager in Essex and North London. So and all the trials and tribulations that goes around running branches in and around that location. So I had 25 stores for Well, 260 staff, really profitable branches, and again we introduced efficiencies and effective practices to make sure that happened. And because of that, I then thought, well, crikey, maybe it's time that I start my own business, and hence I started up HC Media Group, as I say, back in 2018. So that's just a little bit about me. I've worked for several other smaller businesses in a consultancy on a consultancy basis. So again, I was invited in to take a look at the whole offering that they had, look at improving the culture, look at it, improving standards, etc., etc. And all of this revolved around, as I say, improving the bottom line profitability for all of those independent businesses. So something that I really, really enjoyed. If you would like to get in touch with me on a one-to-one basis or personally, then please do. Please email me at team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. That's team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. I would be delighted to speak to you. So, onwards with our training course. So, today I'm just going to talk to you and teach you about leadership. So, what is an effective leader? And put quite simply, as I've stated there, an effective leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to act towards achieving a common goal. And that's simple. So once you have a clear goal in your mind, being an effective leader, as I say, is being able to motivate those people to achieve that goal for you. And an effective leader. So these are the people in the group that possess the combination of personality and passion to make others want to follow their direction. So someone that has the ideas. Someone once told me the difference between a leader and a manager. So a leader, for instance, will be able to. A leader will tell you what side of the house to put the ladder on. A manager will show you how to put the ladder there. And I just thought that's really resonated with me, and I just think it's a good analogy between a leader and a manager. But there are several different skills that you're going to need to be an effective leader. And I've put together the 10 most popular, and again, we will look at them in a lot more detail over the next couple of slides. And the first one is around communication. So as a leader, you really need to be able to clearly and succinctly explain to your employees, to your team, everything from the business goals to specific tasks. And leaders you've got to master all forms of communication. So including the one-to-one, including the team meetings, full staff conversations, as well as being able to clearly communicate over the phone, email, and indeed social media. And a large part of communication that people don't realize is it involves listening. And therefore, leaders should try and establish a steady flow of communication between yourself and your staff or your team members, either through an open door policy. And by that I mean, open door policy, so people can come to you with any issues or any concerns that they may have for fear of any judgment or retribution. But regular conversations with your teams would actually encourage that. And leaders should make themselves regularly available to discuss, as I say, issues and any concerns with employees. That's so important because they will have so much more respect for you as a leader. Secondly, is motivation. So, motivation is all important to be as a good leader. So leaders need to inspire their workers to go that extra mile. That's what it's all about. So making someone feel good about them, that they want to go the extra mile. I want to go the extra mile for you. So but just paying them a fair salary is not enough. Although don't get me wrong, it is very important. But there are a number of ways to motivate your team. And you may build employee self-esteem through recognition, reward, or by giving employees some responsibilities. So additional responsibilities or additional empowerment to increase their investment in the company. So they perceive that their contribution is respected and they're contributing to the success of your business. And that's how you motivate your team. And you've got to learn what motivates or what motivators work best for different employees. So over a period of time, you'll get to know which buttons to press to motivate different team members. Because each one will have a different motivational, something that will motivate them more than the others. And some of the skills that you'll need to have is, allow employees autonomy, allow them to be creative, in actual fact, encourage it. And ask for their input, because again, they'll feel that their contribution is being respected. And don't be afraid to thank them and thank them for a job well done. And as long as you understand the differences between different employees and understand the buttons to press to motivate them, then you are on a winner. They will go the extra mile for you. Delegating is another key skill of a good leader. So leaders who try to take on too many tasks by themselves will struggle. You'll struggle to get anything done, believe you me. And leaders often fear that delegating tasks to other members of staff is a sign of weakness. And in actual fact, it's a sign of a strong leader being able to effectively delegate. And there's a fine line between delegating and abdicating. I totally understand that, but effective delegation is the way forward. Rather than you just can't delegate a task to an individual because you've abdicated it. You'd have to delegate a task to somebody that has the ability, the skill, and the tools to be able to complete that task for you. And to be able to do that, you need to identify the skills of each of your employees and assign duties or jobs or tasks to each employee based on his or her skill set. And by delegating tasks to staff members, it frees you up time to focus on more important tasks, so you can start to work on the business as opposed to in the business. And some of the skills that a good delegator would be sort of have the ability to accept feedback from employees, because sometimes as business owners, we haven't got all of the answers, and it's nice to be able to get some feedback or some ideas or some creative ideas from employees. But also having the ability to assess employees' strengths and weaknesses. And again, you'll get this by making sure that you have regular meetings with them. And again, having the ability to be able to match the task to the right employee. So someone that has the skill and ability, and more importantly, the tools to be able to complete the job to your standard. Positivity. So again, as a good leader, a positive attitude can go a long way in the office. And you know what? You should be able to laugh at yourself when something doesn't go quite as planned. Don't take yourself too seriously, because this helps to create happy, healthy work environment. And even during business and stressful times, we all get it wrong from time to time. And again, having the ability to be able to laugh at yourself is all important. We're all only human. And simple acts like asking employees about their the holiday plans. What are they going to do for the weekend? What are they doing for their birthday? That sort of develops a very positive atmosphere in the office, and it raises morale amongst all of your team. If employees feel that they work in a positive environment, they'll be more likely to want to be at work, and therefore more willing to put in longer hours, more willing to go the extra mile for you when it's needed. And some of the skills that you'll need around positivity is being able to develop rapport with your team. At the same time, making sure that you've got a bit of diplomacy, but encouraging people and encouraging them to be the best that they possibly can. So that, for me, is one of the key strengths, positivity, particularly around to be an effective leader. The trustworthiness. So again, employees need to be able to feel comfortable coming to their manager or indeed their business owner with any questions or concerns. So it's important that you demonstrate the integrity, if you like, and employees will only trust leaders that they respect. And therefore, it's vital that you sort of create that ambience by being open and honest. So, and you will encourage the same sort of honesty in your employees, because if you're transparent and there's no cloak and dagger scenario, then you will encourage the same honesty within your employees. And some of the skills that you need around that is sometimes being able to apologise. Sometimes we don't always get it right. But after saying that, again, trustworthiness is around confidentiality. So someone tells you something in confidence, and you certainly need to keep that and not to break that confidentiality. And again, consistency. So consistency in your behaviour towards employees is all important, because you seem to be very fair, and you're not favourite. You haven't got favourites. Creativity. So here again, as a business owner and a leader, you have to make a number of decisions that sometimes don't have a clear answer, and sometimes you haven't got the answer as a business owner yourself, and you therefore need to be able to think sometimes outside the box, and learning to try non-traditional solutions. So sort of breaking the mold. Non-traditional solutions, or maybe approaching problems in a different way, looking at it completely different. And it'll help you to solve an otherwise unsolvable problem. So coming at an issue in a different direction will certainly help you solve that problem. And most employees will also be impressed and sort of inspired by a leader who doesn't always choose the safe, conventional path. Someone that's I won't say maverick, but somebody who will look at something completely different. So just trying to be a bit more creative. And some of the skills around that would be, listen to other ideas. There certainly will be one point when somebody will come up with an absolute gem that will solve a problem for you. Look to be imaginative and a visionary to be creative. Additionally, feedback. Feedback, again, really important as a business owner or as a leader within your business. And you should constantly look for opportunities to deliver useful information to team members about their performance. So at HC Media Group, I make sure that I have a monthly meeting with all of my team individually. And it becomes the norm, because you just want to identify what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, how they're performing, etc., etc. And it just creates a very open and honest environment, but it also enables you to be able to put development plans and training in place so that individual, again, feels really, really respected. So, as I say, make sure that you look for opportunities to deliver useful information to team members, particularly around their performance. And there is a fine line between offering employees advice and assistance and micromanaging. Try and steer away from the micromanaging. By teaching employees how to improve their work and make their own decisions, you'll feel more confident yourself in delegating tasks to your staff, because you haven't got to micromanage and look at every single stage of a project that an individual is doing. And again, this goes back to the creativity. Let them do their job. If you've clearly communicated a task that needs to be completed, then let them get on with it. Let them get on with the job in hand. So employees also respect leaders who provide feedback, but feedback in a clear but empathic way. So some of the skills that you'll probably need to be able to do that is being open to receiving feedback yourself, building confidence in employees, but as far as praising them is concerned, and making sure that you have regular meetings with them to review their performance, and clarity. So clarity in the way you communicate information to them, and clearly laying out what your expectations are. And again, listen to your employees, listen to their responses. A lot of the time we tend to just have one agenda, which is our agenda. But to be an effective communicator and to give really good feedback, you need to be able to listen to what the employee is actually telling you. And so we go to responsibility. So again, as a business owner or good leader, is responsible for both the success and the failure of your team. And therefore, you need to be willing to accept the blame yourself when something doesn't go correctly. And nothing wrong with that. You're not always going to get it right every time, but you have to take the blame for it. If your team, if your employees see you as the business owner pointing the finger and blaming others, then guess what? They're going to lose respect for you. So, having the ability to accept mistakes and failures, and then, more importantly, devise some clear solutions or a plan for improvement. And that's what taking responsibility and learning is all about. As I say, there's no point in blaming others. We're all in this together. So let's learn from it and move on. So again, some of the skills and the qualities that you need to convey will be acknowledge mistakes. You know what, we don't get it right all of the time, and again, being open to whether it's customer or indeed staff feedback, on a particular issue. What, maybe we could have handled this in a slightly different way, and it's okay to say, yeah, do you know what, you're right. So again, sort of being very transparent, and making sure that we're not hiding things away from our teams. In addition to all of that, a good leader is for me about commitment. So it's important for leaders and for business owners to follow through with what they agree to do. So if you're committed to a particular goal or a particular project, you need to follow it through. And you should be willing to put in the extra hours to complete the job. Because honestly, if employees see that you're committed, they will follow your example. Do you know what I mean? At 5 o'clock, when it's going home time, people will stay that extra 15 or 20 minutes or whatever it is to get the job completed, because they see you being committed to making sure that you complete tasks. And similarly, so when you promise your staff like a reward, a bonus, or an office party, again, follow through. So, as a business owner or as a good leader, you cannot expect employees to commit to their jobs and their tasks if you can't do the same. So again, leading by example. If you are committed and you follow through on your tasks, then guess what? Your team are going to do the exact same. And again, so some of the skills that you may need on that is around, passion to get things done on time and get it done well. Keep your promises, and commitment to company objectives is also important, because your team will follow suit without a shadow of a doubt. And finally, we look at flexibility. So, mishaps, last minute changes, things will go wrong. They always do. They always occur at the worst possible times as well, it seems. So as a leader or a business owner, you need to be flexible and sort of have the flexibility to accept whatever changes come their way. So and your team, your employees will appreciate your ability to accept changes. And accept changes in your stride, and look at creative ways to be able to solve a problem, because even the best of us, things do go wrong. Believe you me, it really does. And similarly, leaders must be open to suggestions and feedback. So again, an issue comes down, or we have a mishap. Again, there's nothing wrong with asking for suggestions and feedback from your team, because you are just that. You are a team. So you're not a team of individuals. You're an individual team, and because of that, we tend to fix mishaps together. If your staff if the staff are dissatisfied with any aspect of the office environment, again, listen to their concerns and be open to make any necessary changes, because it's important to have a happy workforce, but in a happy environment. And your employees, or your team, will appreciate you as a leader and your ability to accept appropriate feedback and take it on board. As I say, we don't always have the answers, and sometimes we do need to take feedback, whether that's criticism or whether it's constructive, whatever it may be, but have the ability to be able to do that. And some of the skills that you'll need around that is the ability for you to learn some new skills. So whether it's around managing people or adaptability, so being able to adapt to different situations and be open to feedback. Sometimes it's not the nicest thing to have to take, particularly from an employee, if they're open and honest enough to give you honest feedback that perhaps you don't particularly like, or it's not too complimentary. Then sometimes it is hard to take that without sort of fighting back. But honestly, for someone to come to you and tell you that, then that is a really good employee, someone that's got a lot of trust, that you're going to adapt, amend, and change. And again, being able to having the ability to be able to recognise individuals' strengths and their skills, again, to be able to take on board some of their feedback. So I do have a task for you. That's my sort of my 10 tips for effective leadership. But I do have a task before we move on to the next training. Ask yourself, do you have an open door policy for your team? For your team to be able to approach you about any issues or concerns. Does that happen? And be really honest with yourself. And if you haven't, then you need to do something about it to encourage people to have the strength and to have the confidence to be able to come and talk to you about any issues or concerns. And I would say that you need to set up regular meetings with your team to share the business goals. If your team understand with your business goals, they understand the why. They understand why we're doing things in such a way, because we need to achieve our goal. And again, have the ability to encourage dialogue to identify what would motivate each team member to achieve their goals. And ask them, what would motivate you? What would you like as an incentive to be able to achieve your goal? And again, people will have different buttons. You will soon find out which different buttons to press to be able to motivate an individual to go the extra mile for you. If you'd like to talk to me about what you've just learned, or indeed you want to just talk to me about something completely differently, then please do email me, team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. That's team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. I would be delighted to talk to you. I hope you've enjoyed this part of the course. I've been Joe Hamilton. Thank you for listening.